There is a place within the feminine psyche that very few men ever truly reach, not because it's completely hidden, but because even she struggles to confront what exists there. Carl Jung. Carl Jung described this realm as the shadow, the inner space where repressed desires, primal impulses, and unspoken fantasies stay buried beneath a carefully maintained social identity. She doesn't display this side on social media. She doesn't openly confess it during therapy. She may only hint at it in a quiet conversation with her closest friend at 2 in the morning, but it is there. And the man who understands what lives inside that shadow doesn't spend his life chasing women. He becomes the kind of presence they can't stop replaying in their minds. Most men spend their entire lives responding to the version of a woman she presents to the world. The agreeable version, the logical version, the version that claims she wants a kind, emotionally open man who communicates well. Yet those same men often end up friend-zoned, ignored, or silently replaced, because what she says she desires and what truly awakens something primal inside her are two very different things. This isn't about manipulation. It isn't about tactics or cheap tricks. It's about understanding the structure of feminine desire at a depth most men are too polite, too hesitant, or too comfortable to approach. If this makes you uncomfortable, type the word shadow in the comments. Do it now, because discomfort is often the first signal that you're approaching something real. Carl Jung. Carl Jung didn't study the shadow to shame people. He explored it to liberate them. And what exists inside a woman's shadow isn't darkness for the sake of darkness. It's depth. It's the side of her that has never been fully allowed to express itself. From an early age, she was taught to be acceptable, to be sweet, to be agreeable, to suppress the hunger, suppress the anger, suppress the longing that feels too intense and too raw to explain in polite society. So, she buried it. She refined it. She learned how to perform softness, even while something far more powerful moved underneath. And this is where most men make a fatal mistake. They meet a woman, observe the performance, and only respond to the performance itself. They bring flowers to the mask. They write poetry to the social facade. They attempt to logically earn their place in her heart through consistency and good behavior. And she appreciates them the same way she appreciates something dependable and predictable. But what she cannot fake is a genuine reaction to a man who sees beyond the performance without hesitation. A man who doesn't need her to remain agreeable. A man who isn't intimidated by her softness, confused by her contradictions, or emotionally dependent on her approval. That kind of man doesn't feel like a suitor. He feels like a mirror, and she cannot look away from a mirror that reveals something within herself she has never been permitted to fully see. This is frame. Not arrogance, not coldness, frame. The calm, grounded certainty of a man who knows exactly who he is, whether she validates him or not. If you've been making yourself smaller just to keep a woman comfortable, type frame in the comments, because that very shrinking is often the reason she stopped noticing you. Here's the psychological truth. Most self-help advice avoids, because it makes people uncomfortable. Women are not mainly attracted to what you do for them. They are drawn toward what you refuse to compromise because of them. Read that again. A man who reshapes his life, his standards, his silence, and his self-respect, just to fit a woman's emotions, isn't being romantic. He's communicating something deeper, a signal that says, I don't completely believe I'm enough without your approval. And the feminine nervous system, not the logical mind but the nervous system, recognizes that signal almost immediately. It interprets it as weakness. And weakness doesn't awaken the shadow. It numbs it. What activates that deeper layer is polarity, the experience of encountering something that does not bend. A man who can remain grounded during her emotional storm without becoming the storm himself. A man who can hear her resistance and respond not with defensiveness or apology, but with calm composure. That composure isn't indifference. It's mastery. And mastery is one of the oldest and most powerful forms of attraction that exists. As a mature man, you possess something younger men cannot imitate. You carry the imprint of a life genuinely lived, decisions made, losses endured, lessons learned the hard way, and when that weight is carried correctly, it feels like gravity instead of burden. Gravity, the kind that makes a woman feel like she's finally standing beside something that won't collapse under emotional pressure. A man who understands this doesn't compete with younger men. He exists in an entirely different category. Type the word gra